Hold your breath. Make a wish. Count to 3. Come with me, and you'll be in a world of pure imagination. Take a look, and you'll see into your imagination. We'll begin with a spin, traveling in the world of my creation. What we'll see will defy explanation.
Hi guys, my name is Sue Ervin, and we're going to do a second video, and this is going to be for Christmas. So it's called a Christmas Poinsettia. I have given a list of the paint brushes and the paints that we need to Christine, and I've made a pattern for the flower. I thought that if you all put a pattern on, then it wouldn't make any difference what size canvas you use. You could just go by the numbers on here, which you can see I have done. This is a 16 by 20. This would fit 11 by 14 size. And we start out with number 1 and just follow the numbers, drawing each petal as numbered, and you'll come out with this. I've left instructions for you to use a medium green to do the background. And if any of you did the landscape we did before, you notice we did a little bit of prep work before you came to the first video. So this is what your canvas should look like before we come to the first video. You've got your background with the one coat of a medium green, and you've got your pattern drawn. And now you're ready to paint. You've got your palette laid out with all the colors, the reds and the greens. And we're ready to start. So pick up your medium brush. I'm going to pick up the medium angle brush. That's the one that goes down higher on one side and lower on the other. And we're working today only in our background. We're leaving the white places white for the petals. That's where these will be. And I'm going to dip my brush. I'm left-handed, so my stuff's all over here. I'll have to turn my back to you guys. But you wet your... You know what? I don't think I bought it yet. I thought I bought my water. I didn't bring it around here. Sorry. You wet your brush and rub it on a paper towel a little bit, and just dip it in one of the greens. You're going to dip your paint brush into, say, the darker color of green, and we're just going to start. If you notice on this, it looks like leaves and things underneath. This is like looking over the top of a poinsettia down into its leaves and things. And poinsettias, if you've noticed, have their leaves are the same as their petals, shape-wise and everything else. They're really a tropical flower, I believe. And I'm just putting loose strokes. And they'll begin to look, there's no rhyme or reason to this because it's not in focus or anything like that. I'm dipping it in the light off-white color and then the greens, and I'll come back and just leave it till you'll begin to make little leaf shapes and things like that. And you want to do that. This has got some blue in it. This is that phthalo green. And I'm just moving around the top up here and trying to get some shapes in that will resemble leaves. That's what you want to do, is just have it look like there's leaves under there. And you come up toward where your white petals are. If you get into the petal a little bit, that's okay. You can always straighten that out. That's the good thing about acrylics. They're always can be straightened out. But just use all your greens. Then you can go back over this and make a petal go in a different direction, and that one can go that direction. You just want to make the illusion of petals, actually. The list, there's about 4 or 5 greens, and I think there's 3 reds for the petals. Now you can see that gives a petal look, and that's kind of starting to, and we'll put some veins and stuff in here and there in a minute. Well, just in the meantime, just kind of keep on going around. After I drew my petals on, when I got to paint the greens, it was hard for me to decipher which was the petal and which was the leaf. So I took and put a little R on the red, for red. You could just put a dot on each one that was my poinsettia petal. And that helped me not to paint them. And I still painted some of them green that I shouldn't have. But that's easy enough when it dries to go over it. There, that's a good leaf there. We'll come down here. This is kind of a quick painting, paint for the background, because you don't have to, some of you will dwell on them, and don't dwell on it because it won't work for you that way. If you dwell on the leaves, it won't be real loose, because you'll have put each leaf in there, and you don't want to do that. You want to have it kind of loosely, like they're flowy, they're soft, they're not like this, they're like that. And see, you can see like this, that's how I want you to do them. You don't want them to be straight, you want them to be soft. That's the way poinsettias are. Maybe you should get a poinsettia and have it sitting here for inspiration. There's a leaf there. Now this is a big part here, so we'll make a few things. You see, I'm making the petals go different ways and trying to keep them soft in their shape. It just begins to kind of flow together, I think, once you start on it. Let's see how that... We can make this like a leaf here. And it's just, there's a leaf. See how you can see that leaf shape? And then we'll color it in. And use that white, that off-white color for the center. See how that gives it the illusion of a leaf. It's not real detailed, but it's a leaf. You can tell that. Then we'll make another one maybe come up this way and over it. Well, Pookie, shut up, see? He's decided the place is safe. Make another, this one can go over the top of that one. You just want to have different shapes in there, so people looking down will think they're looking down into the leaves of the poinsettia. And again, this is just the green colors I gave you, in no particular order. And this one will look a little different than that one, because there's no way, we would spend days trying to match one. So we don't want to do that. Yeah, that's the edge of a leaf, we'll say. And we can make I'm still using that angled brush. I have not changed brushes. I'm going to go through this and make a few inside vein and the outside curl of a leaf. And get another shade of green maybe. Is my head getting in the way? I have a way of doing that.
Nope, you're doing good. I'm just working around you. Do your magic.
I got a big head, so that's a... Okay. It's beginning to look like a few leaves, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
I tried to get Christine to paint with us today.
I gotta be the cameraman.
Yeah, she's got to be the Steven Spielberg.
That's right. Gotta capture the magic.
Yeah, and she does a good job of it.
Thank you.
There. If we get these done, then I think they look pretty good. We'll go into the leaves, start putting in the leaves. I mean the petals. I thought it would take us longer, but maybe not. If you don't finish what I'm doing today, you have all till next week to catch up with me. That's the beauty of the video. When we were in Hawaii, we saw big bunches of shrubbery, like of poinsettias. Yikes.
They're cleaning your
They're
carpet.
cleaning our hall carpet. I didn't know they were doing that till this morning. Here's a spot here I missed. You can tell when you haven't got the two coats on it, it's kind of looks in need of some here. And it can be any of the colors you want. He knows he's not supposed to do that, see?
I think he's calming down now. I think they're going to a different level.
Uh-huh.
Maybe.
You can only hope, Christine.
Yeah, I can hear him out there still a little bit.
Uh-huh. He's keeping it quiet, but he's like, he has to get the last word in, too, if I go out there. He is. He's a brat. I don't know how he got that way.
Oh, he's not spoiled at all.
No. I'm just adding lights and darks to make this, if you put a light on there, the light shade, it makes this part here pop up. So it looks like this leaf is, say, folded over maybe, or...
Yeah, it gives a big contrast.
Uh-huh. And you want to put that, some of that in the background so it doesn't look so flat. You don't want it to look all flat. But I like him to, let's see, where was I? Right here. I'll make this little part dark underneath here. There. And then I'll wipe my brush. I'm wiping my brush off on in the palette there to get a little paint off of it. There. See, that kind of looks like the leaves. This does too. And I'll put some here. Put one this way. Looks pretty leafy, doesn't it?
Yes, it does. Looks very good.
She's the only one here I got to talk to people. There. Again, you just want you want it to look like leaves. It doesn't have to be completely detailed. It's supposed to be just give the illusion. We can go ahead and take a small brush and put some veins in some of these. I guess we could do that. Would be make it look good too. Let me get this going first. Finish that little part off that isn't smooth. And then I'll show you what I mean. I'll put this brush in water, and I will take the script brush. The script brush was the brush that's kind of a long hairs. The hairs under from here to here long. You wet the brush and kind of roll it, and we're going to put it in a little bit of a lighter shade in the white, the off-white, with a little bit of green. And we can take and barely touch the edge. I'm going to have to go in there and make him be quiet. He's driving me nuts. Just get some veins in there. And then this can be the edge of this. Just go around and make your leaves look a little more detailed. like going along the edges, or like this could be. You think that doesn't show up, but it does. This needs to have, dip it in the water and roll it in the paint. You roll it just like that, just roll it on the palette. Just give it a little bit of a veiny look like the leaves would have in them. Doesn't have to be on all of them. You can every now and then just roll it again. Again, it's laying it on the palette and just rolling the side of it. That helps this to come to a point. And we're just getting the edge of this to show up. And there's your center. And we're going to just put a few in. And if I decide they look too strong, I'll brush them out when I step back at it. You got to step back every now and then. Can't paint with your nose, as they say. I'm thinking this is looking okay, though. Not necessarily needing any more. I don't think I want to put any more on here. I think I'm going to leave it and go on to the petals. And we can always come back to this if we see something that... Let me wipe these off a little bit. This is one I thought this was looking a little bit strong. Just leave a few of them on there. Same as this. There. I think I'm going to go ahead now and just leave this as is. It looks to me like you can tell there are leaves and things behind this, which is the same look we had over there, just different shapes. So we're going to put a base coat on our petals now. Again, I'm going to rinse this brush off. Same brush we've been using. It's kind of a big medium, I'll call it, angle brush. If you don't like the angle brush, you can use the flat. Same size, it's just straight across. I like the angle because you can get the points better and things like that for this. And I'm going to stick with my orangish red. It's the Cad Red Medium, I think. And go ahead and start brushing my first coat on this, on the petals. And this was my lighter shade of a reddish color, and that's why I chose it for my base. Because we can make it darker or lighter when we go to detailing each petal. I usually, on this particular case, I might paint every petal red, the base coat, and then go back and do each one. When you paint the petals, and I know those of you who've worked with me before know, you paint it, even at the base coat, you don't want to just slop it on there. You want to try to give it the way the petal grows, which is pretty much like that, as opposed to putting it on like that. You want to keep the flow of the petal because it makes a difference in how the petal looks when you're finished with it. If you don't go the way it grows, it just looks you can't get the detail in there going the right direction, really. It just looks weird. I may go ahead and paint this one a little more detailed so y'all can see. Because if you don't catch up with me, you have all week to catch up. We're doing this in 3 increments as opposed to 4. We'll be doing this in 3.
That way, if you want to give this painting as a gift to someone,
there you go.
It'll be done by Christmas.
Mm-hmm. And actually, even though this is a poinsettia, a lot of people like to change some of their paintings on the wall for holidays and stuff. And I even think this would, if the colors scheme worked, could stay in your hanging up a while because it's just a pretty flower.
Yeah.
If it went in your decor.
Now, Sue, when you're doing your base, you go ahead and paint all the petals and then you come back. Is
That's how I would do this, especially because we're doing it in.
is that to give that part a time to dry?
No, it's just because we're painting the backgrounds. No particular reason.
Okay.
Because it doesn't matter in this case if it dries or not, because it would blend in while it was still wet, and you can always add some more of this color to it. With acrylics, it's so forgiving and so easy to... See, this is coming into the center where our little... Now, I may have to come back and add some green or something here and there. I'm not quite sure if I will or not. But as I go, because I could have not got my leaves just exactly right. I mean my petals. Now this petal here would be a little bit darker or lighter, but I'll still put it in and I'll show you how, so I can preserve the edge, so I'll know where it was. Now I'll go ahead and paint this one in, and then put a little darker red around the border, so that I'll know this is a separate petal. And I'll show you something else here. This is a smaller petal. They have big petals and little petals on them. They kind of grow from here out, and these underneath are bigger, and then the smaller little petals eventually get big and the other guys fall off, I guess. And you can take one of your darker reds, because you've got 3 reds here, and this right here is a smaller petal. So I'll put a little darker around the edge, so I won't lose. See, then I know that is a separate guy. Oh, this looks like it actually goes all the way over here. I need more, fill that petal in a little more. And again, I could do this painting 15 times and they all would look different, because you cannot get the petals exactly the same unless you spend hours upon hours, and then it probably still wouldn't. But you can tell that's 2 petals there. And this is another guy. Now when you paint the petals in, you don't have to paint them in as 1, 2, 3. That's just to help you draw them on the canvas. You know, I never timed this, Christine.
That's all right. Even if we go straight through, I can always edit.
Oh, okay. I thought, I'm just going right along here and I'm not paying attention to the time.
Nope, we're okay. That's the magic of editing.
Oh, well, see there? Between the two of us, we're geniuses.
That's right. We're like Houdini.
Yeah.
Create magic and art.
Don't forget now, if you don't want to frame this, paint the sides. So you would paint the red here and the green here, you know, paint on the sides all the way. Especially if you're going to use it as a gift. It would make a nice gift, I think.
I think so too.
And it's not a landscape.
And it's not anything that somebody bought. Somebody actually took the time to make it.
That's right.
Those are the best kind of gifts.
I think so too. Yeah. We had a thing one time in our family that everybody had to give a homemade gift. You could not give. Even the kids had to make gifts.
Uh-huh.
It was such fun. And my grandmother, she baked everybody little loaves of raisin bread. And my single brothers made candles for people in the hippie era. You know, it just was really a good Christmas.
Yeah.
It was amazing how creative people got.
I think it means more when you make something.
Yeah, it was
as
good.
to buying something.
Yeah, you're right. So there's our petals. These, notice I painted these all in the direction. See how it gives them a smoother... You can tell that's the way that petal grows. There. And I guess I'll move on this way. Red's a hard one, I think, sometimes. Red, and I'll tell you another color that's hard is yellow. Yellow has a lot of green in it, so it's hard to do. Red just, I don't know, it just seems to always be so translucent. Some white's still showing through here, but we'll go through with a real thin brush and take care of that when we finish it up. Bring that down there. Move on. We should have put some Christmas music on.
I know. Well, maybe we'll do that when we do the stop
Okay.
for the next session.
It's hard to believe Christmas is that close.
I know.
Thanksgiving. And they say you should not have anybody but your family that lives with you, so I asked Pookie if he wanted ham or turkey. He said he'd have both.
Yeah. I think Pookie is not picky when it comes to that. I think he'd be happy with any of it.
He is actually pretty picky when it comes to some things, but not for meat.
Oh yeah.
What dog doesn't like it?
Oh yeah. My
Yeah.
dog will eat bananas, doesn't matter. Whatever I'm eating, that's what he wants.
That's why I had a little calico cat, and she would eat. If I took a bite of it first, she'd even eat a grapefruit.
Yep. It wouldn't matter.
As long as if it was good enough for me, it was good enough for her.
Yeah.
But
It's looking good, Sue.
you're just saying that.
No, I'm not either.
I do think this is kind of a pretty picture.
I do too. I like the curves on it.
Well, that's what's nice about that. It makes it, because now most people, and that's why I tell you again, you got to be very careful of that. You want it to look like it's soft, not like that. It's so easy just to have a bunch of straight footballs for the petals. You know, and all the same shape and all. You just have to really think of it how it's a loose, floppy, flowy thing. I think that's what makes it pretty.
Yeah.
Once you get the green in there, you can easily, if you go over this a little bit, it's alright. I'll show you how to straighten that out as we need to. See, but this needs, you want to kind of smooth that out. This is just your base coat. I'm still using that angle brush. And you hold it on the edge, see, that's why I like to get, you can get the curves and the corners and the swirls. Just by following the edge with your angle of your brush. They have so many colors out now, people don't mix colors like they used to. Because you can already get it mixed in the tube. You can just add a little light or a little dark or a little blue or whatever, and you can just barely change the color. You can buy the tubes and hardly have to mix paint anymore. Used to be you had your 3 primary colors and you went from there, but we're kind of spoiled right now.
I kind of like mixing my colors.
Mm-hmm. I do too. That's why you need to have a wet palette too when you're making different colors and mix them, and you're not going to get it all finished in one session.
Now, Sue, I do have a question.
What's that?
Before you put the green on in your pattern, did you prime it first?
No.
Okay.
The canvases we buy today are already
They're already primed?
have the gesso on them and everything.
Okay.
Unless you've stretched your own canvas and did that, but I don't think so. And they're just ready to go.
That just shows you how long it's been since I painted.
Yeah. You can actually you can put another some people don't like the roughness of the canvases, so they'll put another coat or two of gesso and you sand in between to smooth it off. Or you can buy the really good grades of canvas also. And of course they're more expensive. This is more of a student grade I use for this. But, and it's just a little rougher. But I kind of like that rough look of the canvas. It's just me. But you can sand it and get it very smooth. It's good to do that for portraits, which I'm certainly not a portrait person, that's for sure.
No.
I've done a few, but
I'm not a portrait person either.
not my forte.
I kind of like the freedom to experiment.
Well, you know what I say, you paint somebody because you paint them how you think they look, and then they go, I don't look like that.
Yeah.
And they aren't too happy with you sometimes, so. Let's see here. I'm going to put this like this. See, this leaf here overlaps this one, so I went ahead and put a little dark because I wanted to extend that leaf because I don't like how I had it drawn. So using a little darker of red is going to make that look like it's definitely a different leaf. And I will work with it as we detail them. And I'm going to make it again not so rigid. You want it to be soft and flowing. And then you can take some of that lighter green, and put back on the back part of it here, if you want to. And going along the edge of that green. Getting quiet, sorry. I'm concentrating on my leaves, petals.
That's the good thing about art, is you can kind of lose.
You can get lost in your own world, don't you? That's true. Yep, and we got a lot of troubles these days, so it's a good thing to have something to get your mind off of it.
Yeah. You open up the creative side of your mind.
And we all have one.
Yes.
Some of us don't think we do, but we do. I'm going to have this thing painted and nothing flat.
I know.
Well, it's got to have a few details to the petals, that's for sure. I'm just going to come on around and get these all painted red and then decide how we're going to detail them. Still using that same brush. You can move to a smaller one if you want. I kind of like this brush today. I know it's not my filbert, but I like it. Filberts are my favorite. And you can see how that green shows through there. I'll show you how we can get rid of that when we're adding some more detail to it. It's because that green's so dark and red, like I said, it's got a translucent kind of. And sometimes red looks very shiny. I don't know why that is. So some brands look more shiny than others. You can make this a pink poinsettia, I suppose, if you wanted, and you know, they make poinsettias in kind of a rose color. They make them in all different colors anymore. Whatever you wanted. I chose to do the traditional on this, but you wouldn't have to. See, in the real world, they would fade away now. When you came back, this would be all done by the magic of camera work.
Yeah.
But this way, you'll see how we went about it. You can add more big petals if you wanted. You could go crazy with this if you wanted to, or you could have less, I suppose. Almost got it all red, all put in. They're really very fragile flowers, if you never noticed. Their petals break off so easily, and they can't stand the cold weather. If you don't have them wrapped up, I've not wrapped them up walking out of the store and having them, it, you know, kills them. So they're pretty fragile little guys. Like I said, we saw them growing when we were in Hawaii, like big wild bushes, and full of poinsettia flowers on them. I guess that's why we have to force them to bloom at Christmas, because they really aren't a Christmas flower. Bunch of little ones. I'll start and finish up here. Once I get these in, I'm going to have to kind of reevaluate this and see if we got enough petals. Make sure I showed you how I did the sides before we do the detail of the petals. And again, I'm going the direction that they grow. Not sideways or something like that, because they wouldn't look right if you did. That one grows like that, see? Going around the edges, the little stem that goes to the center. There. They're real fragile when they get real skinny going to the center. They break easily. They're poisonous too, they say. My cat used to eat them down to the dirt, never hurt her. She used to eat all the blooming plants. No, none of them ever hurt her. She was too mean, I guess. Like her mama. These are kind of 2 or 3 together, I think. They're kind of fat, so we're making that way. Well, they are down there too. Color them in and divide them up. I usually don't use an easel, so this is a stretch for me, guys. I like to just hold it on my lap. It's all what you get used to. And then we'll make this into 2 or 3 petals. Once I get it all smoothed on there.
So whenever you are ready for the break,
Okay.
just let me know.
I'm going to go ahead and put a divider line on these and then we can stop. Oh, that's still damp. So we can tell that that's 3 petals. Okay. We're ready to stop. There you go. Ready for number 2 in a minute.